do 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 do. Boo ba doo boo 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 boo. Ba doo.
Hey.
So, Casablanca?
Yeah. I mean, that's what we watched. And, famous.
What did you think?
I mean, it's an old film.
1942.
You can really tell.
What does that mean?
Means it wasn't made exactly for our generation. Doesn't hold up very well.
Really?
I don't understand why people like so many of these movies that are so old. Like,
well, was there anything you liked about it?
there are a lot of famous quotes in the film.
Yes, that's true.
I mean, I guess it was kind of interesting.
Well, I enjoyed how they kind of showed the relationships of the different countries during the war within the community of the Casablanca, like with the Germans and the Italians and the French and the Americans. So that was kind of interesting.
Yeah.
But I think the way they treated Sam was pretty bad. I mean, his whole character was just that he worked for Rick, right? Basically.
He was black.
Like, everybody else in the movie had a backstory except for him.
I mean, yeah, but he wasn't a very important character, though. That's the thing.
But he was the only one who was there when the two of them were in love in Paris, right?
Yeah.
I mean, but it's typical of that era. Like, black people could only be entertainers, right?
Yeah. Which makes it
So
infinitely weirder that he isn't in this movie more. It's an entertaining movie.
And then the other thing I noticed was the
got,
way
like, something there.
the only
No. Like on the tip right there.
No, my nose is red.
Yeah.
Because I've been blowing my nose because I've had a cold for like 2 weeks. That's what it is. So, the other thing that I noticed was the way they treated Ilsa, the girl.
Also,
Don't you think that she would have, like, been fighting for the resistance or something? Like, she was just there as, like a showpiece, basically, for these two guys to fight over.
yeah. But,
And
I mean, she was, like, the main character.
Then she told Rick, like, I can't think, you decide for me. Like, she couldn't make up her mind about anything.
Well, yeah.
And you were the one who commented about how everybody was, like, so beautiful and glamorous. Like, it would really be like that back then. People are, like, trying to escape from war-torn countries. Don't you think they'd be a little bit more desperate and...
Yeah. I mean, I couldn't tell the girls apart because they all looked exactly the same.
Yeah. So what do you give it out of a 10?
I give it a 7 out of 10.
I actually was going to give it a 6 out of 10. I used to really like it. I feel like it's well made. I felt like it was entertaining to watch. I just feel like it's just trope after trope of, like,
Well, I mean,
glamorous
it was
people,
like the first person
World War
to do the
II.
trope, though. I mean, it was made at the beginning with those tropes, so.
I know, but, like, the way they treated the pianist and the women and...
Yeah, I mean, yeah, but that's just how people were treated back in the 40s. Well, this movie's boring. Let's put it... Where do I put it on the list? I'm gonna put it...
Compared to your other movies, is it that you're lowest rated so far?
No, it's not.
What's the lowest rated so far?
E.T.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
And then... Okay. Is it higher than A Space Odyssey?
Let's put, let's put it like that here.
After Back to the Future?
Yeah.
Okay. So number 1 is still Schindler's List so far.
Mm-hmm.
Number 2 is Star Wars Episode 4. And number 3 is
I can put
Back to the Future.
list.
Okay.
2. Wars. 4. And 3. God, Father 2, and then 4, Back to the Future, back to the future. I just put,
Mm-hmm.
and then 5 would be 2001, and then.
So 2001: A
No,
Space Odyssey
it would be,
or Casablanca
mhm.
would be 5. And then 2001. And then E.T. is the last one. Really?
I hated E.T.
What did you hate about it?
I thought it was really bad. The characters
Really?
and the acting were really bad. And, I mean, it just seemed like really cringy. It
They
was
had
like one
Reese's
of those.
Pieces in them. In it, didn't they?
That's not a positive. Reese's Pieces are the worst. I
What?
hate them. Yeah. Peanut butter cups are way better.
That's true. I like the peanut butter cups with the Reese's Pieces in them.
So, 4 is 2001, and then 5 is no, I did it. No, that's 6. And then 5 is
7.
7, yeah. Is E.T.
Alright.
And
Well, it was interesting because the last movie I watched with you was Schindler's List. So that also took place during World War II.
yeah.
And this was like the opposite rendition. Like it was like Schindler's List was like really gritty and like, you know, like these people were really suffering and what was actually happening. Really realistic. And then Casablanca was like very glamorous and like everybody was beautiful.
I always thought that,
So
you
it's
know,
kind
it's
of
okay
interesting.
to change history. It's okay to sensationalize what happened during certain eras if you make a good film. But you can't do that during World War II, especially considering you're undermining the suffering of thousands, millions of people.
Mm-hmm. True.
It's just not good. This is why people are so misinformed about what actually happened. I remembered there was a thing where a teacher tried to stay politically neutral on whether or not the Holocaust happened.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what, like...
How could you be
Right, it's
neutral
not-
about that?
Yeah, that's not possible.
It's like basically been proven. Everybody agrees it happened. It's
the
not something
idiot,
that's up for debate.
the complete jackass that writes Christian news doesn't believe the Holocaust is a real thing. I really hope that we show up in an article about Christian news, because Dad's really worried to talk about it in our podcast, because
You better not.
he's afraid that Christian news is gonna talk about us. But guess what? I don't care. I'm not gonna tell them who my dad is, and they're not good enough to do research. So I'm just gonna say, considering that nobody watches this video, if anyone does and Christian news sees it and they talk about it on their thing, I can just show everody that and say
Well,
it was in
we
the
all know
newspaper.
that historians have all agreed that it actually has happened. So
I mean, there's like, how would that even be faked? How would that even happen?
I mean, there's
We know people
there's
that
video,
have
there's
seen
photos.
the Holocaust
Yeah,
that happened.
we've spoken to people on a
We
personal level.
know personally. I'm not going to mention names, of course, but we personally know
Yeah.
people that have endured the Holocaust.
Yep.
I don't think we know anybody that was in concentration camps, but we know people that had to fight in World War II and had to flee from World War II. It's not. It's real. You can't pretend it didn't happen. It happened. But it also leads to, people that disagree with things, and then those things get popular, and then people think they have to seem politically neutral when it comes to these things, even though, they can't. It's not a matter of opinion. You can't stay politically neutral about everything.
Yep.
Like, that climate change exists. Man-made climate change exists. 97% of climate scientists agree that it is a thing that is happening. So it's a fact. It's happening. You can't deny that.
Alright. Is there anything else you want to say about the movie? Are you done?
Oh, tomorrow's Pulp Fiction.
Ooh, I wonder who's going to watch that with you.
That's really entertaining. I want to watch it with Elijah.
No.
Get these motherfucking snakes off my motherfucking plane.
Okay. Alright, I'm done.
Yeah. That was a quote from Samuel L. Jackson. That was a quote from him. It was a quote. It's not my words. That's his words. That's what he said.
I'll see you later.
You just think that we don't have anything to talk about? Were you offended by what I said?
I was offended, and I also have to go to the bathroom, and I think we're done talking about the movie, so. Right?
Yeah.
Your kitty wants to get out.
Yeah, you can't leave. He's not allowed to leave. Hey! No, Kitty. Kitty won't leave. Kitty never leaves. Oh, come on.